Kia ora, welcome back to Te Maui radio show. I am your hostess, Monica Eastick. And today, this video is for all the critics out there, all of the people who like to criticize my theories and my Indigenous ancestry, and all the people who like to criticize my videos. I applaud you because I promote critical thinking, and you should definitely critique other people's kaupapas. That's very good. It's a very good thing, and we should be teaching our tamariki, our children, to criticize, or at least have a critical mind when anybody is trying to influence you. Yes. So thank you for criticizing me. So for all the critics out there, whether you love me or hate me, whether you're a big kid or a little tamariki, we're going to play a game, and it's called the Te Maui radio show quiz. And I'm going to ask a series of questions for all the critics out there, and I'm going to ask you to try and debunk me. And if you can debunk me, I'll be so happy, and you'll be able to put your comments in the comment section. Keep the comments family friendly, please, because just in case the tamariki are participating in this Indigenous quiz, the Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa quiz. Okay, so I've just done a series of 6 videos, and a lot of people have been, oh, Monica, your videos are a bit strange. And I'm like, yes they are, because I'm an Indigenous woman, and our stories are very strange. They are very strange. I don't know how familiar you all are with the Māori mythology stories, but they are very strange too. Apparently there was this man called Maui, or a god called Maui, and he fished up an island called Te Maui. Yes, and his brothers were bullies, apparently. Yeah, so there's a lot of bullies out there. No bullies allowed in the sacred temple. Didn't say any bullies were allowed in the sacred temple, did it? It said 2 sacred cow goddesses could bring the Ark of the Covenant into the sacred temple, the sacred tabernacle. That's one of the prophecies of Putahi Marae, my marae, on the east coast of Wairoa. Yeah, or on the east coast, on Wairoa River. Yeah. Okay, so for all those people who have been trying to criticize me online or at hui's or in the newspapers or on the radio New Zealand, apparently, yes, Radio New Zealand Māori executive Money Dunlop has mindlessly and quite criminally done a quite damning criminal news report against me. I'm a peaceful Indigenous woman, and I am the head ambassador of Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa embassy, and apparently I checked it out. It's life imprisonment for Money Dunlop if she gets found guilty of malfeasance of public office. Malfeasance of public office is when people who are being paid, who receive Māori funding or Indigenous funding, and Radio New Zealand is receiving Indigenous funding for Money Dunlop's Māori radio show. I think they receive like 12 million a year or something. It's a lot of money, isn't it? And it's actually against the law for anyone receiving money from the government, so government departments, so like the New Zealand Police or the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Nanaia Mahuta, or Money Dunlop from Radio New Zealand. If they're receiving money in public office, which means in their public capacity, they're receiving public funding, especially if it's Māori or Indigenous funding, they can go to jail for life imprisonment if they get found guilty for colluding against an Indigenous woman like me, in my Indigenous embassy. And pretty much that's what they've done. So here I am. I've kind of lost everything because a lot of people have been trying to snuff me out. And so all I have left is my voice. I have my voice, and now I've got a radio show. So if you wanted to order cards or anything, you can't order them from me anymore because I've lost everything. Thanks to corrupt Māori authorities. Ew. Yes, so anyway, so all those critics out there that like to criticize me on social media, please try and debunk me. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to debunk my theories on my own ancestry. Okay, but let's give it a go. So let's start the game. So the first question in the Te Ika Maui radio show quiz show is, now kids, grab a piece of paper and a pen because we're going to play a little game, okay? It's a family-friendly game. Everyone can participate. Okay, so here's question 1. Shiva, the divine water spirit, the divine god of time, the highest Trinity god in India, worshipped in India, the Himalayas, in China, all around Asia, and all around the world. There's over 1 billion people who worship Shiva. He is the most beautiful god in the entire universe. Now, if over 1 billion people around the world have been worshipping Shiva for thousands of years, why, and he's the god of time. Now, kids, why, this is the question, why is the international time zone not in India? I mean, if Shiva is the Indian god of time, how come the international time zone is on the east coast of Wairoa, on the east coast of Te Ika-a-Maui Island, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, east coast of Mahia? Why is the timeline here and not over in India or the Himalayas or in China where they worship Shiva? Why would it be here on this tiny little island, east coast? Shiva, the divine water spirit, the divine god of time, the highest Trinity god in India, worshipped in India, the Himalayas, in China, all around Asia, and all around the world. There's over 1 billion people who worship Shiva. He is the most beautiful god in the entire universe. Now, if over 1 billion people around the world have been worshipping Shiva for thousands of years, why, and he's the god of time. Now, kids, why, this is the question, why is the international time zone not in India? I mean, if Shiva is the Indian god of time, how come the international time zone is on the east coast of Wairoa, on the east coast of Te Ika-a-Maui Island, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, east coast of Mahia? Why is the timeline here and not over in India or the Himalayas or in China where they worship Shiva? Why would it be here on this tiny little island, east coast? Does anyone know why that is? Have you figured out why? Now I'm going to give you a little clue. Here's a little clue. My granddad, Kiwa, great granddad, and he's a god. We call him Kiwa. On the east coast, we call him Kiwa, granddad Kiwa. But in Hawaii and Hamoa, in Hawaii and Hamoa, they call granddad Shiva, granddad Kiwa, granddad Kiva. So we say Kiwa, and they say Kiva. And yes, so here's another little clue, kids. If you have a look here, this might be question 2 actually. This is question 2. Are you ready for question 2? Okay, so if you have a look at, I'm going to put up a picture. And it's a picture of Shiva, the beautiful, beautiful time god worshipped in the Himalayas. Now, why in this picture of Granddad Shiva, my Granddad Shiva, why is he depicted with a moon in his hair and Ra, the sun god, or the sun behind his head? Why is he depicted having a king cobra around his neck? And why is there a little white cow goddess in front of him? Kahu is the Sanskrit or the old ancient word for sacred white cow goddess. Kahu. Kahu. And it's a picture of Shiva, the beautiful, beautiful time god worshipped in the Himalayas. Now, why in this picture of Granddad Shiva, my Granddad Shiva, why is he depicted with a moon in his hair and Ra, the sun god, or the sun behind his head? Why is he depicted having a king cobra around his neck? And why is there a little white cow goddess in front of him? Kahu is the Sanskrit or the old ancient word for sacred white cow goddess. Kahu. Kahu. That's where that word comes from. Kahu. Yes, so why is there a white sacred cow goddess, Kahu, always hanging out with Granddad Shiva, with the god Shiva? And then why is Shiva holding a stick with three prongs on it, like a trident? Why is he holding that? And why is there a drum on that trident? And a little flame, little korako, little flame stick. And also Kahu-Ra-Anaki. Oh, just got a message. Move that out of the way. Yes, so in most of the pictures of Shiva, the ultimate, highest Trinity God, ultimate God, most of the pictures of Shiva are depicted with those items. He's always got a moon in his hair, or a sun behind his head, or a moon in the sun, and he's always got a snake, a nike, a naga, and a naki, a snake around his neck, and he's always got a little white sacred cow goddess with big bosoms in the pictures. Okay, so why is that? So get a piece of pen and a paper and write down your theories. Kids, tamariki, you write down why you think Shiva, the ultimate god worshipped by over 1 billion people all around the world, why is he depicted with those things? Okay, and okay, so this is question 3. Question 3 is, why does it say 33 at Shiva's feet? What does that represent? Does anybody know what that represents? 33 feet? What would that represent? And yes, so I'll let you try and figure that out, and at the end I'm going to tell you all the answers. And if you don't agree with me, if you want to criticise me, you're going to have to criticise me, use logic, be respectful, and show your evidence if you have any. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to debunk me when I tell you why. When I basically answer the questions. I don't think anyone's going to be able to debunk me. And yes, so please share this video all around the internet. Share it with all the people who can't stand me, all the trolls, all the haters, and all the critics. Share it with Money Dunlop, the Waitangi Day Māori media executive. Share it with her. She works for Radio New Zealand. She's the she's the Māori executive for Radio New Zealand. She's from Kaikohe. Share this radio show with her. Get her to try and debunk me. Or better yet, get me onto one of the TV stations and let me do a public debate with all of those people trying to snuff me out unlawfully. Yeah, it's weirdos. But anyway, they must be threatened or something. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Maui. Okay, so get your pen and paper ready, kids. Okay, so was Maui a real man? Or was he a god? Or was he both? Was he both a real man and a god? Can you answer that, kids? Okay, so that's Maui's question 1. Now Maui's question number 2 is what was the significance of the mythology, the Māori mythology story? What do you believe the significance is behind Maui catching the sun and slowing down time? Do you think he really used some flax to catch the sun? Or do you think that was a symbol of something else? Do you think that perhaps in the Indigenous stories, the stories were so fanciful, it's just so amazing, that within those stories that were so amazing, there was some hidden or encoded information, very important information that we as the mokopuna or the grandchildren of Maui, that we had to remember, because that's how Indigenous people told stories. They told stories so that we would remember the stories. They also watered the stories down for us for our own safety, because we were the babies of the gods. The tamariki, ariki. Ariki are the gods. We were the babies of the gods. And because we were the babies of the gods, we were so cute and beautiful. And the gods didn't want to tell us the mean, horrible, real life stories. So they watered it all down for the babies. That's what our ancestors did, because we had tender ears. Okay? And so that's a little bit of a clue to why I made those very interesting 6 videos that I just made. I called them the Chronicles of Uru Tenanana, my granddad, the god of light. So my family, we come from the god of light. That's my family. And in my family there were rules. We had to wear white or rainbow colours. We weren't allowed to wear black. We weren't even allowed to touch black things. We weren't allowed to touch black stones. Yes. So there was tapu. Tapu is like sacred things. There were special rules in my family. And one of the special rules was that we were never allowed to tell anybody who we were. We were never allowed to tell other people that we were the royal family, that we came from the true royal bloodlines, and that we came from Hinikorako. And yes, so all those kids from Ahuriri, from Napier, all those kids from Hastings, the Tamariki, from Kahuranaki, Marae, and from Heipapi and Bayview and Tongoio and Maungahararu and Mohaka, Nuhaka, Mahia and Wairoa, if you come from there, if you're Māori and you come from there, we've got a very special ancestry, because, yes, I'm going to get to that. So when I tell these stories, I'm not just telling them for myself, I'm telling them for all of my family, because I'm the oldest of our family. I'm the oldest female. All of my hapus, very old, very ancient. I might look a bit young, but I'm actually very, very old. Very old indeed. Very ancient I am. Yes, come from the shapeshifters. Okay, so I'm going to ask a few questions. Okay, so what were we talking about? We're talking about Granddad Maui. Okay, what was the significance of Maui, the god or the man? What was the significance behind him catching the sun? What do you believe the reason was that our ancestors went to such a big effort to make sure we remembered that story? And we all know that story. Whether you're Pākehā, Māori, Chinese, Indian, we all know that story. It's a famous story. And so why do you think they taught that to us? Now in the schools, in New Zealand schools, and the Education Board, they like to tell a lot of fake histories. And the matakite, who are the very, very high up high priests, above the tohunga, above the tira rangatira, they're the highest, they're the closest who are closest to God. They can talk directly to all the tūpunas. That's a matakite. And the matakite come from Wairoa. The matakite come from Waikiri Moana. We're very, very special people, okay? And so the matakite, we can see into the future and we can see into the past. And so we knew that we had to hide all of the sacred information into a palatable, babyish story, like a mythology story, and then no one would feel offended by it, or nobody would want to erase that story from the school curriculum, because in the schools they talk about Maui as if he was fake, as if he didn't slow down time for us, because the schools thought that all of those Māori mythologies were fake, but they were actually real stories. They were actually real. Okay, and there was a lot of hidden sacred information in those stories for the Indigenous mokopuna, for the grandchildren of Maui and Kiwa. And because the grandchildren of Maui and Kiwa, the matakite, the ones from the priestly line, they can decode all of the stories. And then, yes, they can share them. And if you're the oldest and you're hapu, then it's your duty to share the correct ancestral stories, because that's how we share our information, through storytelling. And we have to tell the correct stories. That's our job. It's like you get born into it. It's not like you can go to university to learn this stuff. You can't go to university to learn this. This is sacred information handed down through the priestly lines. Yes. So, kiddies, question number one? Yes, that was question number one about Maui. So we're up to question number two. Okay, question number two. Where did Maui fish up Te Ika Maui? Te Ika Maui is the North Island. It's shaped like a fish. Ika is fish. Te Ika Maui, the sacred fish of Maui. Where did Maui fish up Te Ika Maui? Okay, so where did he fish that up? What was the special spot called? And what else do we want to? What else can we ask about Maui? Oh, yes. What shape was Maui's special star chart? Okay, what shape was it? What did it look like? What did Maui's special star chart look like? And if you find out if you know what Granddad Maui's special star chart looked like, why, this is like question number 4, why was it shaped like that? That's a funny looking shape, isn't it? Okay, kids, do you know why it was shaped like the way it was shaped? I'll give you a clue. The East Coast Māoris, we come from the shapeshifters. Just move all the shapes around, all around the Pacific. just move all the shapes around. So it was very, very obvious that we came from the shapeshifters, the Anunnaki, because when we are born, we get born into the same families over and over again. That's the stories of the Anunnaki, the shapeshifters. Yes, we get born at the right time, at the right place, and walk straight into the He Whakaputanga, and straight into the Wakamingi o Nahapu, and straight into the beehive that was built for us on the head of the fish. 1977, year of the Kahura Anaki. Yeah, that's an Anunnaki trait. So the Anunnaki, we didn't know how to build buildings. Didn't know how. So other people would build the buildings for us. And they were built on our years that we were born. Did you know that? Yeah. Okay, so here's another question. All those critics out there, whether you love me or hate me, all the tamariki, let's see if you can play the game. Because I'm the game player. Used to be a poker player. Okay, and one time I went over to Las Vegas and I was playing in the World Series of Poker. The first game I ever played, and I won. I won a World Series of Poker game. I was like, how do they do that? I just got off the plane, went to Hawaii, and then flew over straight from Hawaii, straight into Las Vegas. I was really nervous because I'd never played in Las Vegas. I thought everyone was really clever. I sat there, I played against 829 people. I was the only Kiwi to win in the money chart thing. Yeah, and I just knocked everyone out. Boom, 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 boom. Must have had magical powers or something. Yeah, I loved it over there. And yes, so I got up to 1 million chips really quickly. And so there was 3 of us with 1 million chips each. And the 1 million chips isn't the prize value, that's just the playing chips. But the prize value was 60,000 American dollars. And I had the largest amount of chips. But I was tired. I just got off the plane. Just been flying around like a kahoo. Woo! Across the Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, across from Hawaii over to Las Vegas. And I was tired. And I've been playing for 14 hours straight. I was like, oh, let's just split the money. So I told everyone we all split 20,000 American each. And on paper, I took the lowest amount, but I actually got 20,000. Took the lowest amount, didn't want to pay tax, you see. Ew, who wants to pay tax? Ew, we don't have to pay tax at all. The tax department can pay us, okay? Yes, we are the executives of our own trusts, and we can claim them back. Yes, and that's why a lot of the government ones, the Māori authorities, they like to collude and snuff various Māori lineage out, directly snuff out certain families because they have bigger trust funds. Yes, and they like to keep us very simple. So when you go to school, they don't teach you about your trust funds. They don't tell you that if you're a Māori, probably one of the richest people per capita in the world. And all trading starts here for a reason. It all starts here because of the international time zone, because of our granddad Maui, because of our granddad Kiwa, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa. It's all very, very important. And a lot of people on the kaupapa, there's a lot of people now learning about common law and learning about the trading aspects of the He Whakaputanga and the importance of that. And there's a lot of people waking up now, and that's good. Wake up. But yes, be critical. Be critical of me. Keep your comments clean and family friendly, because I'm basically sharing with you everything I have. I'm sharing with you my voice. Tonga tuku iho. My gift to you is my voice. Tonga tuku iho. It's a treasure. My voice is a treasure. I come from the highest. come from the mermaids, come from the rainbows, come from Te-Moana, come from a special family. And you might come from a special family too. And that's why it's very important to learn your whakapapa. Because it's very important to learn your whakapapa actually. Because in accordance to tikanga, and tikanga is Māori law, if you want to challenge somebody in accordance with tikanga, you have to, this is a prerequisite, this is a rule. You have to at least know your whakapapa before you are able to challenge somebody else. So Mani Dunlop and Nanai Mahuta and all the critics out there, all the people in the Tikanga Law Society, all the people in the media, all the people in the other groups that hate me and are trying to snuff me out, and if they don't know their whakapapa, they're actually forbidden to challenge me. That's a rule in accordance to tikanga. In accordance to tikanga, you're forbidden to challenge somebody unless it's publicly and you've given them notice. So here I am. I'm being snuffed out, but luckily I'm able to borrow this studio for the day to make this video, and I don't know when the next time I'm going to be making a video. I don't know if I'm going to be making another video for you guys, so take advantage of my gift to you now, my voice to you, because there's a lot of people who want to silence my voice. Yes, and a lot of people, a lot of powerful people have been colluding against me. But anyway, let's get back to the game. Oh yes, so if you are going to challenge somebody, there are rules. You have to be respectful. You have to at least know your own whakapapa, and you have to have a reason, a really good reason to challenge them, because challenging somebody just to snuff them out and steal their intellectual property is not a good enough reason to challenge somebody. Okay, so if somebody else creates something, if they're a creative person, if they create something, like how I created Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa embassy, I created that based on my whakapapa, because I come from the East Coast, I come from Wairoa. Now, if you want to challenge me, or if you wanted to challenge anybody, it's not a good enough reason to challenge them just to snuff them out and steal their ideas. That's yuck. It's kind of desperate and gross as well. And so that's one of the, the hallmarks. The hallmarks of people who do not come from the true royal lines on these islands. The hallmarks of those people are they're nasty, they're evil, they might even look like swine. Okay, so if you see some really, really fat, morbidly obese people running around doing hooeys about me, the chances are they might be swine people. They might be swine people. You don't want to hang out with swine people. Now, there's nothing wrong with chubby people. They've got a good heart. Okay? Lots of people in my family chubby. I'm chubby. But swine people, they like to, run around and try to arrest you, try and beat you up and hurt you for no reason at all. They're actually I don't know what's wrong with their brains. And those are the hallmarks of people. Stupid people, mean, greedy people, and people trying to run around and arrest you and snuff you out. Those are the hallmarks of the people who are not of royal descent. They are not of the divine. They are not of the divine. So if you see people like that doing hooeys, being nasty to Auntie Monica, just leave the hooey. Ew. Ew. Leave that hooey. Yeah, because if people are doing hooeys about other people and that's their only subject matter, like that's the only thing they're doing the hooey about, they might not have a brain. They might not be very smart. You don't want to do hooeys with people who aren't very smart. You want to do hui's with intelligent people and just nice people and friendly people that don't go around beating people up. You want to do hui's with people who are like heroes, who save other people and get people out of jail and dedicate their life to helping Indigenous and Native people. Those are the kinds of people you want to do hui's with. Not people who are just colluding and committing crime, malfeasance of public office and using public money to snuff out Indigenous women. You don't want to hang out with people like that. That's pretty much the lowest of the low. That's as low as you can get. Okay? So yes. So let's get back to the story. Okay, what else? We've got Maui. We have 3 questions about Maui. Oh, yes. So this is a question about the flag, the 1830 flag that you can see featured on our Native and Indigenous Sea Pass cards. Now, kids, get your pen and paper ready. Why do you think that there's a red cross? A red cross on the flag, the 1834 flag gifted by King William IV. Why is there a red cross? What does that symbolize? Does anyone know what the red cross symbolizes? And why King William IV gave us options? We were never forced to choose a flag. We were given options. That's manaakitanga. Manaakitanga is generosity and respect. That's beautiful manaakitanga from King William IV, because King William IV was a very nice king. So was King George IV, and they loved us. Now, kids, this is question number 2. Why do you think that King William IV and King George IV just loved the Māori people? Why? What was so special about the Māori? Do you know what was so special about the Māori? And why we had the red cross put on the 1834 flag? Why would the royal family do that? Does anyone know what a red cross means? Okay, now here's another one for the kids. Does anyone know why He Whakaputanga is celebrated on the 28th of October every year? Why the 28th of October? What's the significance of that date? Because in the old times, our ancestors, our tupuna, they did things for a reason. Everything was for a reason. It wasn't just willy-nilly. It wasn't just, everything was quite specific for a specific purpose, for a specific reason. We were very precise. We were on point, just like Tamatea-Ariki-Nui, the captain of the Takitimu Waka. He was the highest captain of all the wakas, and he came from the highest waka of all, Te Tapu Waka Takitimu. It's the highest waka. And on the Takitimu Waka, there was Tamatea-Ariki-Nui, he was the captain, and the lowest rank was Tahu Pōtiki. Tahu Pōtiki, Pōtiki la baby. He's the lowest rank. And then there was all the different ranks in the middle. Now, on the Takitimu Waka, when Tamatea-Ariki-Nui, the captain, was sailing the waka, he had to be on point. If he wasn't on point, and if he was slightly off by 10, 15, 20 degrees, then he'd end up in a completely different location. And so that's why it's important to be precise. And if you're going to be precise about things, then yes, it's just better. It's a trait. It's a hallmark of Tamatea-Ariki-Nui's mokopuna. His mokopuna is smart. They are on point because they have to be on point because there are rules. Now, the highest leader of the sacred waka of gods, Te Tapu Waka Takitimu, was actually Hini Korako. Hini Korako. She was the highest rank. And I'm going to play a short little video clip, tiny little video clip, 10 seconds or 20 seconds, about it's a Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa TV show from a long time ago. I think it was done in the 90s, about the royal status of Hene Korako, her pedigree, her ranking, very, very high, very, very high, all the way up, very, very high, very, very high, high up ancestress. And so that everybody from Wairoa, the Tamariki, from, you know, the Hawke's Bay, you can learn about this, okay? And it's not just me saying it. There was a television show about her. She was very, very special. And as the years went by and as the decades went by, we lost a lot of our histories, and every decade, every time we get older and older, the histories are getting falsified more and more and more. But they never, see, the schools in New Zealand, they didn't believe the Māori mythologies, and that's the beauty of telling the stories, and that's why Indigenous people tell the stories in the manner they do, because it's so that the information, the critical information, can be passed on and absorbed, and all of the encoded information, the special encoded information for the mokopuna of the Indigenous ancestors, they know that we're smart enough to know what they mean. Yeah. And there's clues everywhere. So there's clues all around the world map, okay? And that's why they put the timeline on Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, so that everybody would know who the first peoples were, the first peoples to see the sun, because we were the first peoples. The East Coast Māori were the first peoples, because everything started from here. Yes, and that's scientifically proven. Scientifically. And all of the historians and enthusiasts and biblical scholars and high up royalties, all the true real royalties, they know who we are on the East Coast Maldives. They know who we are, and that's one of the reasons why we're given the flag. But they put all the clues around the Pacific, so we'd never ever lose our heritage, and we'll never lose our homes. And that's why the islands are called Te Ika Maui and Te Waka Maui and Te Pango Te Waka Maui. And that's why the islands are called Hamoa and Tonga, Rarotonga and Tahiti. And that's why the islands are called Rapa Nui, Easter Island, and Maui and Hawaii. And that's why those islands are inside Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, the Great Sea of Kiwa. Kiwa, the highest Trinity God, the highest God of all, worshipped by over 1 billion people. So they put all the shapes around the Pacific, so it was very, very obvious we came from the shapeshifters. And they named all the islands after the correct ancestor, as royal bloodlines, the ancestors, so that we'd never lose our home. Yeah. And the clues are all around the islands. All around, yeah. And all you have to do is just learn what those names are. Okay, because Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, the great standing place of Kiwa, the divine water god, that actually has another name as well, because Tu is the short name for the god of war, Tu-Matuenga, the god of war, Kiwa's brother. Kiwa is the god of the divine water spirit, and Tane is the god of forest and birds, and Uru Tinanana, but his short name is Uru, he's the god of light. And those were four brothers, four very, very high up gods. They were brothers, and they were all against Fiddle, because Fiddle was a demon. He was like Satan, Ahriman. He'd spent too long squashed between the sky god Ranganui and Papatuanuku, the earth god. He was squashed too long because he was the oldest, and so he was the oldest. He's the demon of darkness, and so his brain got a bit demented because he was squashed so long. He He was a bit odd. He didn't belong. That's shaped like an oblong. The oblong is a little bit odd. It didn't belong. It was a bit odd. And that's Fedor. And Fedor, we don't worship Fedor on the East Coast. No. We worship the light. And we've got our gods. There's 4 gods that we worship. And so that's why we are the first peoples to see the sun. Because we are the first peoples. We are the Indigenous peoples. And the Indigenous peoples come from Mount Whakapunaki. Mount Whakapunaki translates to make the moon. And Mount Whakapunaki is where the original Taniwha race come from. And that's where I come from. My family are the Tuakana of Mount Whakapunaki. And we are shapeshifters. And we are a little bit different to other people. So there was one lady, and she was criticizing me, and she was like, Monica, I don't respect you anymore, Monica, because you wriggle around too much in your videos. And I was like, well, my nana was a mermaid. She was actually a shape-shifting mermaid. So, of course I'm going to wriggle around in my videos. I'm not going to stop wriggling. You know, who says that anyway? Who talks to an Indigenous woman like that? Especially one who's sharing the Indigenous stories. These are family secrets, by the way. These weren't everybody's stories. These are family secrets, and all the royalty around the world know these stories. Okay, because they documented them for us. So the Indian royal family know the stories, they documented them for us, and that's why the Sikhs totally like, yeah. As soon as you explain Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa to the Sikhs, they're just like, yeah. Because their gods, Brahma and Vishnu, told them that Kiwa didn't come from India, that his favourite direction was east, and his height was 33,000 feet. So all the clues are there. They also said that Brahma was transformed into a swine or a pig, and that Vishnu was transformed into a swan. Now the swans, the 22s, the little baby ducks, the swans are the baby Anunnaki. So Vishnu must have been a baby Anunnaki. Yeah, and there's a lot of stories. So the reason why Shiva, the highest Trinity God, who's worshipped over in India and Asia, the reason why he has a snake around his neck, a neke around his neck, and a naki around his neck, a naga around his neck, is because of the story. It's a famous story. It's called the churning of the sea. It's a famous story. So in India, this is the story that the demons weren't as powerful as Shiva, and the gods weren't as powerful as Shiva. So what the demons and the gods did is they said, help us, Shiva, help us gain immortality. Okay, and then Shiva says, okay, I'll help you get it, but you're going to have to cooperate, because Shiva was, he was not biased. He recognized the demons were his brothers as well. Recognized the gods were his brothers as well. So in his eyes, the demons and the gods, it's all the same family, you know. And so Shiva says, okay, so we're going to have to get the special snake. It was a big sea snake. It was a sea asp. It was called the churning of the Milky Sea. And there was Mount Mauna Kea, the highest mountain in the world, 33,000 feet. Mount Mauna Kea is a mermaid mountain because it's under the water. It's the highest mountain in the world, and it's a mermaid mountain because just the tip of the peak is out of the water and the rest is under the water. Mount Mauna Kea in Hawaii. And so they got the sea snake, the sea asp, and they wrapped it around the neck of Mount Mauna-Kea, the maunga, the highest maunga in the world, the Mermaid Mountain. They wrapped it around Mount Mauna-Kea, and the demons held on to the 7-headed snakes, the head of the snakes, the demons, and they pulled the snake, and the gods held on to the tail of the snake, and they pulled and they pulled and they pulled. This is called the churning of the Milky Sea. The Milky Sea, because the elixir of life or immortality can be gained when you churn the Mauna Kea with the 7-headed naga. And but what happened was Vishnu or Brahma, one of them, turned into a turtle, big turtle, went under Mount Mauna Kea and held it up so that they could perform this ceremony, this very weird ceremony. Okay, so there was a big giant turtle, and then Mount Mauna Kea was put upon the big giant turtle, and then the snake was wrapped around Mauna Kea's neck, and the demons pulled the 7-headed snake this way, and the gods pulled the tail of the snake, the tehiku, the tail of the inaki, tehiku inaki, this way, and they pulled and they pulled and pulled, and it created the Milky Sea. And in the Milky Sea there was the elixir of life, immortality. That was Shiva. He knew how to do that because Shiva was very, very smart. He was very, very smart. He came from the gods. And yes, and that's how you get Kahu, Ra, and Naki. Kahu is the milky one, the one with the big bosoms, the ox, the Kahu, the sacred god cow goddess in the Himalayas. Perfectly white sacred cow goddess with large bosoms to feed all the babies the milk. And that's why you've got the Kahu there with Shiva. And then Ra, sun god. Kahu is the sacred one, Ra is the highest fire, and Naki is the snake, the lonely snake, because there's only one. And that's the story. And yes, and so with Mount Mauna Kea, the highest mountain in the world, is 33,000 feet. And that's why you have the 33 at Shiva's feet. In all of the pictograms, all of the special worship pictures, Granddad Shiva. And yes, and that's why he had the naga around his neck, sacred snake, or the 7-headed. Now the 7-headed naga, yes. And that's the significance. It's our story. It's a story about the Milky One, because, okay, now this is why this is a special thing, and I don't know how many people know this. Okay, but this is something about Matariki. Matariki. Now, why do you think Matariki is celebrated on the 24th of the 6th, 2022? What's 2 plus 4? What's 2 plus 4? 6. What's June? June is the 6th. What does 2022 add up to? Matariki this year on the 24th of June 2022 was celebrating 666. Now why would Matariki be doing that? Now Ma is the mother. Ma is white, and Ma is the moon. Ta is the root word, or the international word for the god of the sea, Ta. Tangaro, Ta. The Egyptians, Ta is the god of the sea. And Ariki are the gods. Okay, and it's very easy to learn the old language because it was made for the babies of the gods. So I don't know how many videos I'm going to be doing because I don't know I'm going to be around. But yes, I'll try and teach the tamariki as much as possible, as much as I know, so that if anything happens to me, you'll be able to tell my stories. But these stories belong to me. These are my family stories, but they are my tonga tuku iho. I give you the blessing to repeat these stories, provided that you tell people where the stories come from. They come from me. My name is Monica Eastick, Head Ambassador of Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa Embassy. I'm having a little bit of a break at the moment because I'm kind of getting snuffed out. They're trying to do soft genocide to me. Group of mouldy, authoritative people. You're mean to me. Okay. Yes, and so Matariki is basically the celebration of the moon and the moon goddess, or the moon gods, and the sea goddess and the sea gods, and Ariki are the gods. That's what Matariki means. And 666 is the number this year that they celebrated that on, and it was the first time they'd celebrated Matariki. There was a public holiday. And Matariki is a very special time because it's when a lot of us matakite are the high priests that receive the godly information, where other people would call us prophets around the world. That's what they'd call us. But we say Matariki. No, we say matakite. Matakite. Because mata can be death, and kite is the three kite of knowledge, and we have the three kite of knowledge. And there's not many of us, okay? So there's certain ones who are inherit the sacred knowledge. There's only a few of us. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one so far, because I seem to be quite ahead of everyone else. So far ahead, in fact, people think I'm a little bit simple, or they think I'm a little bit crazy. But I'm actually the smartest of all. I'm very, very ancient. I might look young, but I'm very, very ancient. I'm an ancient one. Yes, in the place where I come from, the dirt, the papa tuanuku, our Mother Earth is so ancient. The papa is white. That's how ancient our people are. And our hairs are white. Yes. And our skins are white. Because we come from the light. And very, very ancient. So yes, so the reason why the significance between Matariki is because of ikoroa. And those of you who don't know what ikoroa is, it's the Milky Way. Ika is fish and roa is long. Or ro could be fish eggs. But ikoroa is a very long fish, okay? And the very long fish is a mermaid. She's a beautiful, beautiful mermaid. And her tail is the big whale's tail. Mauna Kea mountain. Mauna Kea mountain in Hawaii is a mermaid mountain because it's under the sea, and that's the tail of Te Ikoroa. And she's so big, she got scales, sparkly little scales, go up into the sky, up into the Milky Way. Her bosoms are so large, they're all up in the Milky Way. Actual, I'm not making this up. That's why the girls on the East Coast are very tall, white skin and big boobies. I'm not making this up. This is real. This is a real thing. Yes, and so, yeah. So, Ikoroa is a mermaid. And her tail is Mount Mauna Kea. It's the whale's tail, the tail of the sea, or the tail of the sea. And I come from the Hikawai family, and all those tamariki that come from the Hikawai family, this is your story too. And I'm sharing this with you, tonga tuku iho. It's my treasure, my voice to you. Yes, and so these are the histories that can never be erased, because there were certain ones in the hapus. And hapu is the family tribe. that we're gifted all the stories and we're gifted the voice. So our job, our duty is to share these stories with everybody so that we can free our people. It's all part of a prophecy. Many, many, many prophecies. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. And they're all about this place here. It's a very special ika that we live on, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa. Very special place, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, very ancient. That's why it's shaped like a triangle. It's a sacred triangle. And that's why Mokia, big, big mountain, is pretty sure it's shaped like an M. And if you have a look at the moai statues on Rapa Nui, Easter Island, if you have a look at the back of the statues, there's an M on the back. So on the lower part of the back, there's like an M shape. An M, or however you do M. I'm dyslexic. I'm actually dyslexic too. So yes, M, and then a rainbow. So you've got a rainbow over the M, because Mauna Kea in Hawaii, there's always like rainbows in Hawaii, because it's somewhere over the rainbow. It's just beautiful. And then there's a circle above the M, and that represents 12 o'clock. That represents the sun, Ra, or Isis. Isis is the goddess, so she's got the sun on her, the sun disk on her head. She's got wings like a kahu. She's got scales like a snake. She's a kahurānaki, Isis. And that's why islands is I-S and then a dot, because I-S dot is islands. Isis Islands. Come from the Isis. Come from the gods. She was a Greek goddess and she was an Egyptian goddess. We come from the Greeks as well. Okay, and so everything was encoded. Yes, so on the back of the moai statues on Easter Island, that's what they mean. And Easter Island, people will be like, oh, big mystery about Easter Island, and big mystery about the pyramids, and all this big mystery about everything in the world. Oh, so many mysteries. But it's not a mystery, because we know all the secrets of the universe. We are the Tamariki, the babies of the gods. And that's why we were gifted the flag by King William IV, because we were God's chosen people. We have a very special bloodline. Okay, kids? Doesn't matter if you're Māori, Pākehā, Indigenous, Moriori, Hori. What do you think the Hori zone was named after? In the horoscope. The Hori zone? Because Granddad Shiva was an East Coast Hori. And you know he was an East Coast Hori because he's just got dreadlocks, red eyes, running around India, no clothes on, just a rag around his groin, and Hori is. Even the demons are depicted with having their hair combed to the side. Even the demons have their hair brushed to the side, jewels, special hats, slippers that went up like this, jewellery everywhere, nice outfits, dressed up to the nines, the demons. But Granddad Shiva, no, he's an East Coast Hori. You can tell, bare feet, no shoes, big giant, he just looked like a surfer dude. Smoking on the special tree, hanging out in the sacred triangle, the golden triangle, knocking himself out, going into meditation. East Coast Māori. That's Granddad Shiva, alright, he's our granddad. Don't believe me? Look at the pictures. He was an East Coast Maori. Yes, so, yes. What else is there? I think that's it. I think that's it for tonight. Just want to say thank you to everybody who donated me money, especially the Barton family, the Fetus, the common law people. Thank you, everyone who donated to me. I'll do a big shout out in my next video. Actually, I'll put the credits up in the back in the back of this video, I'll put the credits up of all the people who donated to me. Thank you very much for everybody who bought a card from me. And now if I haven't made your card, just call Peter. Peter's got all of his equipment. He's got everything up and running. I've lost everything. Been targeted. I ended up homeless. Well, not really. I had to go stay at a hotel for a bit. Then I got a few donations and now I'm staying with friends and kind of just trying to stay alive. Yeah, but I should be back on my feet hopefully in about 2 months. Okay, I'm going to start from scratch again. But yes, so if anybody sees Nanaia-Mahuta at any hui's, make sure you heckle her, She's what you call a counterfeit. She sold the seabed and foreshore in 2004. Her signature, okay, when she signed to sell the seabed and foreshore, and so did Tiffany O'Regan, by the way, from Ngāi Tahu, they signed. And Tiffany O'Regan was sneaky, he got his cousin to sign. His cousin was a lawyer. And they signed. They signed that to sell the seabed and foreshore. They had absolutely no right to do that. And that is a hallmark of those who are not of the royal lineage, because anyone who came from Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, any of the Indigenous peoples, we would never ever do that. We would never do that because this is our home, this is our palace. We come from the sea. We are the sea people. Yes. So if you see Nanaia-Mahuta, or her husband, or her sister, Tipa Mahuta, first of all, they're not even Mahutas, by the way. They're Ormsbys. They're what you call counterfeits. Okay? Corporate counterfeits. Make sure you give them a good heckling. You give them a good heckling from Auntie Monica, okay? You give them a good heckling indeed. Make sure you ring up that Money Dunlop from Radio New Zealand. You give her a bit of a telling off as well. Tell her she's very naughty for what she did to Auntie Monica. I'm your Auntie Monica. And I'm giving you the treasures. Sacred, sacred treasures. Taonga tuka iho. My voice to your taringas. Okay, babies? Now, I hope you enjoyed the Te Ika Maui radio show. One day, hopefully I'd have my own studio. Maybe I could get some funding instead of that Money Dunlop. Eh? She was mean. I might put a little bit of a thing up at the end so you can see what she said. Oh, where are these cards coming from, John Gerritsen? Oh, they appear to be coming from 2 websites. Oh, really? They were very careful with how they persecuted me on the radio show because they knew that what they were doing was very bad. But they were stupid because they admitted on the radio show that all government departments are colluding against me. I'm actually an Indigenous woman. I know my whakapapa, and hey, I'm not Indigenous. I think you get in a lot of trouble for what they did. That's a life imprisonment. And they were so stupid that they actually admitted that on radio, a national radio show. That's like me going, this is an example, by the way, that's like me going, okay, pretend I work for Radio New Zealand, okay? I don't, but pretend I do. Hi, this is Monica from Radio New Zealand. Just letting you know that all the government departments are colluding against, this Indigenous embassy over here and that Indigenous woman. Yes, that's completely fine. Yeah, there'll be no consequences of that at all. Yeah, we're just so smart at Radio New Zealand. Actual, it's life imprisonment, you mouthpiece of public office. Oh my God, there is a brain drain. There is a brain drain. There is a brain drain happening here. And the funny thing is, most of the people who suffer from brain drain are the ones trying to critique me, criticize me, trying to criticize me. I'm like, Who are these people? No wonder that, I don't know how many people know this. I don't know if I should say it. It's actually a bit sad and a bit mean. But, how should I say? Okay, the royalty around the world was pretty fed up with Māori, and they gave them until 2021 to rise up in their true capacity as an Aryan Māori and rise up, or their kids would become slaves, because people are disgusted by the Māori representatives. They actually are. That's why I wrote the Kupapa Suppression Law 2020. There was a deadline. That law had to be written before 2021. And I was 2 months shy of the deadline. I wrote the law, moved it at Waitangi, made sure that we had a hui. That was my hui, that was on Waka Hui, although I'm not on the television show Waka Hui. That was my hui, I paid for the hui. Me and Colt, that was my hui. I organised that hui for like a year. Moved it, and then yes, because the law, Article 3, okay, the key to Article 3 had to be unlocked by the right person. The law had to be written by the correct person, and then moved at Te Taua Te Rangatira, the correct place, on the correct day, the 28th of October 2020, and then it had to be lodged with the Crown Law Executive Office, and those were the things, those were the requirements. And did anyone ever wonder why I did that? Did anyone ever wonder where I get my information from? I'll tell you this, the rest of the world, just, Māori were going to lose the status of being God's people, because they were not behaving like God's people anymore. And so when I wrote that law, I wrote that for us, for you, for all of us, so that your children would not become slaves. And one day you'll understand the significance of what I did and what I was doing that whole time. Why I rushed so fast to get everything done. And why there are so many people trying to snuff me out. Because the key to Article 3, the law that I wrote, basically is the law that can be used to stop Nanaia-Mahuta and her whole horrible criminal bully family counterfeits. It's the law that can stop he puapua. It's the law. And so if you were smart, whether you love me or hate me, whether you love to criticise me, if you were smart, you'd actually come under my kuruwai. My kuruwai? My coat. You'd come under my kuruwai, because I'm your protector, and I come under Te Hāpoko's kuruwai, my tūpuna, and I come under Hini Korako's kuruwai. She's the highest. She's the highest leadership of the sacred waka of the gods. You do not get any higher than that. So if you were clever, and if you did not like, regardless of race, Pākehā, Chinese, Indian, Māori, regardless of your kaupapa, you could be in Kuruwai, you could be, the United Nations Federal Hawaiian Marshals, you could be in any group or kaupapa or religion or belief system. If you want to get rid of Nanaia-Mahuta, you would get under my kuruwai, you would protect me from being snuffed out, because I'm your protector. And I wrote that law. There was not one other person on all of these islands that had the capacity to unlock the key to Article 3, and that was me. I did that, and I did that for you. And a lot of people won't understand the significance of what I did and why I did everything that I did, but one day you will. Okay, and share this video. Please share this video, because I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to make another video. I don't know where I'm going to be. next week or the next week after. I'm literally getting genocided. It's called soft genocide. It's when a group of very powerful people and people who are receiving funding or even trying to snuff me out and steal my ideas, they're colluding against me. And the reason why they're colluding against me is because I unlocked the key to Article 3. I wrote the law that basically just get rid of He Puapua, get rid of Nanaia Mahuta, and the iwi chairs and all of the pigs at the trough. Okay, because yes, there are a lot of racist dickheads out there, but Māori authorities are really corrupt and they're really, really evil, and they've got their fingers in many pies and they've got their pawns and that, yeah, and so support me, support my kaupapa, support my videos, learn from me, because it's a win-win for you. It's not that great for me. I know, well, how do you think most of the profits end? Hey, are they actually that profitable? Or do they just profit other people? I'm the prophet of Kahurānaki Marae, and I'm the prophet of Pūtahi Marae. Because the prophecies are the currency. The currency starts on the timeline. The Holy See, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, the great standing place of Kiwa the God. Kiwa, the highest God of all. Yeah, that's why we're the holy people. We come from the Anunnaki. And if you were clever, and if you really wanted to have proper governance in this nation, not an old nation, island nation, nation of isles, in Nutarini, have a fair and just structure, then you would appreciate the structure that I had designed in Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa embassy, and I granted everyone's diplomatic community. We can all start fresh, and I can see into the future, and I know what's good for the future, and I can see into the past, and I can learn from the past, and if you were smart, you'd get in behind me, because I was born in the year of the Kahurānaki, 1977, year of the fire snake, the same year that the beehive was built. And it's no mistake the beehive was built on the year of the fire snake, year of the Kahurānaki, 1977. And it's no mistake I was born on Ahuriri Hill, 1977, year of the fire snake, year of the Kahurānaki. Because Te Hāpuku o Te Ikanui o Te Moana, the biggest fish in the sea, he was born on Ahuriri Hill, 1797, year of the fire snake, year of the Kahurānaki. And he autographed He Whakaputanga on behalf of the whole Hawke's Bay and the head of the fish and Te Waka o Maui, because he was the biggest fish in the sea. And I come from the biggest fish in the sea. And I come from the biggest mermaid, Mauna Kea. I come from the Ikoroa, I come from the stars. I come from the moon, I come from the sea, I come from the gods. And I come from Pene Korako, and I come from the rainbow, Te Reina. And then even the demons promised never to hurt me, because I'm the Mauna Kea. I'm the messenger. Yeah. So if you were clever, whether you're a critic or not, you would see the value in the prophet. And that's me. And it's not very fun being me, by the way. Just wanted to say that. It's actually very hard. How do you think I feel? Being persecuted by politicians and police and corrupt, scary Māoris. They hate me, and big people. Yeah, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed Te Ika Maui radio show, and yes, my stories are very weird, aren't they? But they're actually real. This is a real story. This is the never-ending story right here. And if you want to debunk me, good luck, because you won't be able to, because I know my stuff, I know my ancestry, and all the other royalty around the world can back it up. Did you ever wonder where I get my information from? Who gives me the information? It's not Peter, it's not Colt, it's not anyone else. Yeah, because I'm the great test of the East, the greatest test of time, the greatest test of the timeline, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, the great test of the East. Who are the evil ones? And who are divine? Who are the beauty and who are the beast? The great test of the East. Yeah, the greatest test of time, the test of Hades. Who are the royalty and who are the swine? Who are the evil ones and who are divine? Maybe I might be divine. Maybe you might be divine. Divine? What's divine? Divine is the family tree. It's divine. It's the vine that goes up, up, up into the sky. Hikurangi, Mount Hikurangi is a petrified tree stump of Grandad Tane. It's the masculine mountain because there's no cave inside. It's the highest mountain of its kind. The whole Te Maui is not even a volcanic mountain. Why is it so high? Because it's a petrified tree stump of Grandad Tane, my granddad. Because we are the land before time. We're the land before time because everything started here. We are the Anunnaki. Yeah. And we only come from the shapeshifters, come from the gods. Yeah, and they still talk to us. That's why we're so special. That's why we are God's children. And but the sad thing is, well, God's children are beautiful. They look beautiful. They sound beautiful. They sing beautiful. They're smart. They have a very particular look. And yeah, it's been scientifically proven, and historically proven, and even Hitler was obsessed with us. He called us the Aryan Mouldy. Yes, yes. And he said that if the 28th Māori Battalion, if they were with him, he would have won the war. Did you ever wonder why that was? The 28th Māori Battalion was so friendly they didn't even need to go to war. They were coup-puppet out once again by Sir Apirana Ngata, the man who wrote the Tohunga Suppression. He wrote the Tohunga Suppression Act in 1907 to suppress the Tohunga, and the Tohunga are God's babies. He suppressed God's babies. He suppressed our culture. He changed all the language. And he changed all our wharanuis and the way we did things. And he sent all our people from the east coast off to war. Then he just claimed Mount Hikurangi for himself. Didn't he? And then he said that that was the spot that Maui fished up Te Maui, but no, it was not. That's Grandad Tane's petrified tree stump. My Grandad Tane, the god of the forest and the god of the trees, and the god of the birds, and even the god of light somewhat. Yeah. Learn your whakapapa stories, learn your prophecies, learn the histories, learn your whakapapa, because you're forbidden to actually challenge me unless you know your own whakapapa, and once you learn that, I don't think you'll be challenging me. Yeah, I can trace mine 4,000 years backwards. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to have a wānanga. I'd love to have my own radio station, the Te Maui radio show. It's like a sacred tabernacle. I don't even go to church. I don't go to church and I don't preach the Bible. I'm just what you call a natural. A natural. But I hope that people can debunk me, because if you can debunk me, then I'm free. I'm free. If you can debunk me, my stories, my videos, and all the questions in this video, if you can debunk me, then you've freed me, because then I can go back to my normal life and be happy and not be persecuted and hunted down and suffer, you know. But if you can't debunk me, that means I'm stuck here, kind of like a genie in a bottle, just stuck here having to kind of get the message across to people. But it's not very cool to be a prophet and to go to church, apparently. I don't even go to church. Just on the run all the time from evil people, the swine people. Ugh. Swine people everywhere. Yeah, so I don't really get anything out of this, kids. I don't know if you've noticed, but kind of have nothing left now. I still have my knowledge, and I still have my voice, and I still know my ancestry. I still know my royal descent, and I know who I am, and I know my gods, and I know my ancestors, and they talk to me, and yeah. And all those people who fail the great test of the East and prove to be swine, all those people who behave like swine before my pearls, I give you one more chance before you are hurled down through Hades to an even worse place. This place is called the Death House of Fedor. It's the scariest place of all, and that's where we used to send the swine back in the old days, because the demons were our family too. Yes, and so the swine, the ones who worship Fedor, made Mauna-Kea very sick indeed. And she would feed the swine to the demons, because the demons are her family too. Yeah, that's in our ancestry. And did you ever wonder what the sacred boats are? So you have Noah's Ark, that's a sacred boat. And you have the boat that floats across river Styx, that's a sacred boat. And you have Te Tapu Waka Taki Timu Waka, that's a sacred boat. Now these are the boats of the gods. The Ark of the Covenant is a sacred boat. You have many, many sacred boats. And these are the boats of the gods are the highest. And so when you learn your whakapapa and you learn the correct stories, and you learn the reasons why we have the sea pass, because the sea pass is the sea asps, and the sea asps are the sea snakes. The sea snakes? Yes. That's why. And you wonder why we have Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa on the cards? That's our nation. That's my granddad, Kiwa. Yeah, Te-Moana-Nui-A-Kiwa, so we'd never lose our sacred home, the sacred triangle. That's our home. It was paradise. We are the original Garden of Eden. Yeah. That's why when the missionaries came to Te Hikua Te Ika Maui, when they came to Te Hikua Te Ika Maui in the 1800s, and they showed the people of Ngāpuhi the Bible, the people of Ngāpuhi said, oh, the Bible's written about us. Because the Bible was written about us. Isn't that a trip? Oh, wow. Did you ever wonder what the giants were? Pataparahi, the giants, the fairies. They came from the Nephilim. They came from the gods. That's why they called us the God Zone, the land before time. So we were the special ones, and that's why all the movies are made here. Like Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings, the Chronicles of Narnia. It's all about us. These are our stories. The Never-Ending Story, Enter the Dragon, all of the stories, The Little Mermaid. These are our stories. They all started here, even the Bible. Yeah, it's written about us. We had special boats and we used to travel all around the world. We could circumnavigate the world. We were the fastest. We were like the elite Ferrari makers of boats. And anyway, kids, I hope you enjoyed Te Ika Maui radio show. Please research everything I've just said. Yeah. And good luck trying to debunk me. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Tikanga Law Society. Get the tikanga, ticker of approval. And the ticker of approval sits on the east of the clock. Number 3. Shiva's favourite number. Good night, kids. Sleep well.